What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of Woodmine Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. So in this one, I'm going to be talking about the Ultramarines. So for the longest time, the Ultramarines were always the poster boys of 40K. Whenever you think Space Marines, chances are you'll think of the blue armor-wearing Ultramarines. They have been, in my opinion, one of the more blander, just kind of like vanilla Space Marine chapters out there. Why would you pick the Ultramarines when you have access to like the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves? There's just so many more interesting, awesome chapters out there that's basically Space Marines plus. So with that thought in my head, I decided to go through and see if there are some book excerpts that I could find that showcase the awesomeness of the Ultramarines. But in recent times, we've actually gotten much more to them. So, for example, we have Space Marine 2, we have Titus, we have Calgar showcasing what they can do and what makes them so badass in this new video game. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We also have the Secret Layer animation that came out for Amazon Studios, and that is a very brutal, awesome rendition of just how awesome Space Marines are, and it just so happened to include the Ultramarines. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this excerpt from the battle at Calth. The Ultramarine sees movement. The first of the word bearers appears. Behind him, two more toiling up the earthwork slope. More come behind them. Excerpt stands to meet them. They do not shoot, and he hesitates. Bolt gun in one hand, power sword in the other. He is red like them, except not by choice. They see his true markings under the sickly sheen of blood only as they draw close, but by this time, as they react, he is already killing them. He shoots the first in the face. There is no time to appreciate the satisfaction of seeing the grilled helm explode, the pieces of bone and hair and brain matter ejecting in all directions. The second Astarte he hits in the gut, the third in the left shoulder, tipping him backwards down the hill into the men behind him. The fourth is yet another headshot. There is no fifth, no rounds left in his bolter. Excerpt goes into them with his sword. He severs a wrist, a thigh, a neck, impales a body and lifts it, hurling like a sack down to the earthwork rise. It crashes into its kin below. Two-handed, he buries the edge of the blade in the cranium of yet another, splitting it in half. One has dropped a bolt pistol. He snatches it out of the bloody moss and fires twice into the chest of the next traitor, killing him cold. He kills the next two, then side slashes a man off of a bulwark ridge to his left. But they're on him now. There are far too many. Enough to take on a world. Enough to bring a legion to its knees. They hit him. They beat him with gun butts and sword hilts. They pin him and club him down to his knees, chipping and denting his armor until some of the blue begins to show again. One of them tears off his helmet. "Bastards! Bastards!" he yells at them. A fist pulps his face. Repeated blows to mash flesh and crush bone. He begins to drool blood and teeth through swollen lips. One of his eyes is even gone. They drag him up. He's a captain, a trophy. A figure towers over him. Excerpt, half blind, realizes that it's one of the Titans, advancing to face the earthwork. Its speaker horns boom. The word bearers roar in answer and punch the air. When the Titan resumes its advance, knocking down the old earthwork and trampling the trees, Excerpt finds himself crucified on its torso. And that's just one of the short stories we have here that really showcases how badass these Ultramarines are, taking on every traitor he can. Calth is a bloody, brutal battle between two chapters that really hate each other. It was the Ultramarines that laid waste to Monarchia, one of Lorgar's favorite cities, and now they have their chance at retribution and revenge. And boy, do they go all out at taking revenge against the Ultramarines on Calth. This next excerpt comes from the novel The Honored, where once again we see the Ultramarines taking on the Wordbearers on Calth. Inside the battered suit, Urkis finds his way to a kind of appreciation as the Wordbearers' horde smashes him repeatedly into the ground. Amongst the blasts of bolt guns, the kicks and scrapes of murderous daggers trying to find a way into the armored coffin of his cataphracty suit, the sergeant finds a moment of peace, of reflection. Urkis is tempted to let himself go, to become one with the violence visited upon his deserving body, but it is not within him to surrender, not as a son of strongbacks toiling under the sun, not as an ultramarine with the gifts to go on further. The sergeant wills himself to stand, to push not only his weary body up from the floor, but also the weight of his monstrous suit and the mold of his armored foes in which he is buried. The skewering point of a power blade twisting between plates is nothing to him. The Wordbearer's fist slamming into the side of his crumpled helm is nothing to him. The dagger sawing at the seals of his throat is nothing to him. Orestrin Urkis rises. He forces the creaking cataphracty suit around, throwing the Wordbearers, clawing, stabbing, and shooting into his back with it. One falls, knocked into a charging foe, while the remaining two soak up blasts from bolt guns aimed at the spinning sergeant. As the Wordbearers fall away, the others turn to climb on to subdue him, but Urkis heaves himself at the walls of the narrow tunnel. Charging his muscular frame and mauled plates into the rough rock, Urkis smashes Wordbearers into mangled corpses. The sergeant hammers himself at both enemy and wall with such force that he feels the servos give, ceramite layers split, and bones fracture. He crushes a traitor sergeant's plumed helm between rock and pauldron. He caves in the faceplate of a Wordbearer assault marine with his armored elbow. He rams his back brutally into the demolished tunnel corner, breaking the spine of an enemy warrior, attempting to slit his throat. Urkis crashes the bulk of his suit at the tunnel again and again. A missile streaks away down the passageway, shredding the ceramite of the sergeant's pauldron before thundering into the Wordbearer mob behind. As it explodes, Urkis is blown across the opposite wall. Armored carcasses and bits of body clatter messily onto the floor after having hit the ceiling and the walls. The Wordbearer's missing arms, faces, and the will to live stumble through a miasma of bloody dust. Urkis rescues himself from his own tumble and throws himself directly at the heavy weapon's battle brother. The Wordbearer still cannot quite believe what he has done. At first, he tries to reload the launcher, but as Urkis's furious steps take him ever closer, the Space Marine abandons the heavy weapons and reaches for his pistol. 2 wild rounds is all Urkis gives him time for, 2 rounds that spark harmlessly off of the sergeant's plate. Urkis plunges his right lightning claw into the Wordbearer's chest. The traitor grunts with agony and disbelief. Urkis pulls back with the right to bring in the left, tearing the crackling blades of the gauntlet out into the Wordbearer's punctured chest as he slams yet another set of skewering claws in. The traitor is all but dead as Urkis rips the second claw out from his shattering chest plate. Bringing the right gauntlet back in, Urkis hammers the searing blades of his lightning claw straight into the Wordbearer's helm. With helm and skull split asunder, Urkis can see the gory shock and surprise on his enemy's face. Withdrawing the claw, he allows the butchered warrior to fall. Urkis to command, he voxes. My column ran into a delay. What kind of delay? The indefinite kind. And here we see yet another battle scene of just how brutal the Ultramarines can be, and more so when they're in Terminator armor. So here we see that these two factions just hate each other. It's hatred against hatred as we have the Ultramarines going toe-to-toe against thousands of the Wordbearers who are just ready to go to war to showcase that chaos does reign supreme. But if you guys truly do play the Ultramarines on the tabletop, let me know what portions of the lore got you to play them. I, for one, can't bring myself to play the Ultramarines when there are so many other more flavorful, awesome warriors out there to choose between the Space Marine chapters. But of course, like I said, you guys have a ton of named characters. You have Marnius Calgar, Titus, You have, of course, the Primarch Guilliman back into the fray, leading the Ultramarines to war. So again, let me know what you love about the Ultramarines, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Thanks again for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you then. Peace.
Oh, I used to put my freedom first.